Welcome to Module 7, SDMX Data Mapping, from the course How to Use ODP to Disseminate and Report Your SDG Data. In the previous video, you had an overview about the SDG data structure definition. In this video, you will learn how to use the DSD to perform data mapping. The Mapping Assistant tool facilitates the mapping between the SDG DSD and the country SDG data that resides in the ODP database. This tool is available for free on the Eurostat website. Let's begin with Step 1. Establish connections to the mapping store and ODP databases. The first time you run the Mapping Assistant, a wizard is launched in order to generate the mapping store. You then select the database type for the mapping store and set its details. Once the connection is set up, the admin password is required for the first login on the system before the main screen is displayed. In order to add a new connection to the ODP database, go to the menu and select DDB Connection. Then press Add Connection and set the connection details. Once the mapping store is set up, the user will be prompted to import SDMX structures for the mappings to be performed. This is Step 2. To get the DSD related to the SDGs, just go to the SDMX Global Registry and download the latest available version. Now to import the SDG DSD that will be used for the mapping. Click on the plus sign, then Add SDMX Structure File. After selecting the corresponding file, the system will upload it and a dialog box will display the import details. The components of the SDG DSD will then be listed. To perform the mapping, you will also need to create a category scheme and add a category where the data flow will be linked. To create a data flow, just click on Add Data Flow. Then set the data flow details. In this case, you will be using the SDG DSD. Now, Step 3 is to create a dataset from the ODP database to be used to map with the data flow. In order to create a dataset, you click on File, then select Datasets. Select the ODP database connection and click on Add Dataset, where a prompt wizard will ask you to set the dataset name. Then select Option Query Editor to select a country table from the available list. Now, let's map ODP dataset concepts to SDG dataflow ones. This is Step 4. To perform the mapping, you need to create a mapping set. Go to the menu, click on File, and then Mapping Sets. When selecting a category containing a data flow, the Add Mapping Set button is enabled, allowing the creation of a new mapping set. Once the mapping set details are set, the screen appears where you will be able to perform the mapping that comprises of the Dataset pane on the left, where the columns of the previously defined dataset are listed, the DSD pane on the right, where the components of the DSD are listed, and the Performed Mappings pane in the middle, where the defined mappings appear after selecting the left and right components to be mapped. Now, after mapping the concepts, you will map the ODP codes with SDMX codes defined in the SDG DSD, which is known as transcoding. This is the fifth and final step. To perform the transcoding, start by selecting the mapping, then clicking the View Mapping Transcoding. Click on Add Transcoding and select the option to load codes from the mapping store or dissemination database. Now select the corresponding DSD code for each of the local codes through a drop-down list that will appear on the right of each local code. Another alternative is to press the Code Match button, and codes will automatically be matched if they are the same, or press the Description Match button to match codes if they have the same keywords. Once the configured mappings and the transcoding have been applied, the data obtained can be viewed in the View Mapped Data dialog box. Great job! The mapping is done. In conclusion, this video taught you how to map SDG data in ODP with SDG DSD. The next video will explain how to generate this map data in SDMX format to be shared. Stay tuned!